Good morning, class. Welcome to another edition of Maths with Ablight.
The square of 5 is 25, so you put it in square root because the square root of this will give you exactly 5.
1 over x is equal to 27 raised to power x.
Express square root of 32 as square root of 16 multiplied by square root of 2.
X to power a plus b.
Good morning, class, and welcome to another interesting edition of Maths with Ablight for year 9. Today we're looking at Pythagoras theorem. In the previous video, we've been able to state the principles that govern the Pythagoras theorem. Today we want to solve questions on them. I'll take your mind back a little. In the last class, I had told you that Pythagoras states that in a right-angled triangle, the square on the hypotenuse side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Or state it in another way, that the sum of the squares of the two sides of a right-angled triangle is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. The other two sides could be the opposite or the adjacent, depending on what angle you are considering in a right-angled triangle. And I've told us that a right-angled triangle is just one of the types of triangles that we've got, called the equilateral, the scalene, the isosceles, the right-angled triangle, and so on. How do you know the right-angled triangle? It must have this little box here that shows that this is an angle of 90 degrees. That 90 degrees is what we call a right angle. So the name stems from here, a right-angled triangle. So we have been asked to find x in this shape. X is on the hypotenuse side. From the previous video, what I explained, the side that faces directly the angle of 90 is called the hypotenuse side. So x is the side facing angle 90. So that is hypotenuse. And Pythagoras is telling us that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. So we use that to find our solution. We are going to define it. So we say solution. This is simple, yeah? The square, Pythagoras is saying the square of the hypotenuse, that is square, is equal to the sum of the squares. So you find the square of 6 and add it to the square of 4. So he's saying the square on the hypotenuse side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other sides. And this question says give your answer to 1 decimal place. This is simple. X squared, when you square 6, squaring 6 means 6 times 6. And that gives you 36. Add 36. Square of 4 is 4 times 4, and that is 16. It means that your x squared is what? 52. 6 plus 6, 12. Carry 1. So that's 52. How do you get out the value of x? You say x squared, you take square root of it. It is only square root that can cancel out square. Then take square root of 52. So x, therefore, then you go to your calculator, because you've been asked to do it with 1 decimal place. It means already they want you to use your calculator. If they didn't want it, they'll give a straight forward question that wouldn't need you to estimate to 1 decimal place. So you take square root of 52, and that gives you 7.211111. Because you have been asked to approximate it to 1 decimal place, you end it at 1 number after your decimal point. That is what this means. 1 decimal place means just the number after the decimal point. So what I have here is 7.211. So you approximate. If the other number, the succeeding number, is more than 5 or 5 and above, you make it 1 and add it to the preceding number. But right now, it is just 1, so you don't need to go on. So you just tell us it is 7.2 centimeters. Then put in bracket 1 decimal place. You must put this so that whoever is seeing the answer will know that you had to approximate to 1 decimal place. And that is your answer. You get your full mark. In the next question, you're asked to find x, just like the previous one. Here, remember, it says the sum of, the square on the hypotenuse side. This is the hypotenuse side. How do you know the hypotenuse side? It is facing angle 90. Is equal to the sum of the square of the other two sides. So the best way, as you are solving Pythagoras, just keep repeating the definition or the theorem that was put across by Pythagoras. Now you are going to square 11. They want you to use calculator, remember, because I told you it is to 1 decimal place. That's the first sign of them wanting you to use calculator. So you say 11 times 11, that should be 121. Absolutely correct. 121. 7 squared is 7 times 7, that is 49. Add it to x squared. In this case, you collect like terms. Now, year 9 they're already coming up, so I'm going to use a little of those mathematical language that we use. So you simply say collecting like terms jives. Do not forget, those who have watched the previous video on mathematical language, this does not become gives when you are solving maths. You call it jives. Collecting like terms jives. So it means these and these are like terms. You cross to this side, and that means 121 minus 49 is equal to x squared. So let's do that subtraction. 121 minus 49 gives us 72. X squared is equal to 72. So how do you get x? X is to take the square root of 72. This is supposed to give 8 point thereabout. So square root of 72 gives you 8.48. I'll have to write this complete so you understand. 8.4852 81374. Remember, to 1 decimal place. This is what I explained in the previous question. To 1 decimal place, you are supposed to end it at 4. But before you write 4, check the number that succeeds 4. If it is 5 and above, call it 1. Add it to the preceding number. I remember I said it when I was solving that. You're supposed to end here, but you've got to check the succeeding number. If it's more than 5 or 5 and above, call it 1, add it to the preceding number, meaning you take 1 from here and add it to 4, that is 5. So x is equal to 8.5 centimeters, put in brackets, to 1 decimal place. And that is your answer any day, anytime. Thank you very much, and in the next class we will look at more examples, and we'll keep going like that. In the meantime, I would want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Maths with Ablight. Share it with your friends. There could be somebody who is in year 9 who might be finding difficulty with this. So you could share this and the person will see it, and the person will be able to get solution to his or her problem. From here, it is bye-bye. Again, we've been asked to find the value of x in that shape below. Like I always tell you, the side that faces angle of 90 is the hypotenuse side. So we go again, you write solution, and you start quoting the theorem as usual. Pythagoras' theorem has stated that the square on the hypotenuse side, this is what that statement means, this is the hypotenuse side squared, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. This is the square of this side and this is the square of the other side. Simple. With this, your solution is facing you. Again, you take your calculator, 14 times 14 is 196. 196 is equal to 81 plus x squared. You collect like terms. Like I told you in the other one, collecting like terms jives, but I don't have space here, so I won't be writing that. But in an examination situation, an ideal examination situation, you can write this. It makes the person, the examiner, to know that you know your onions, you know what you're doing. So you collect like terms and you are going to have 196 minus 81 is equal to x squared. So let's subtract 81 from 196. We've got 115. X squared is equal to 115. It means that x is equal to square root of 115. If we take square root of 115, we have 10.723. And you have to give your answer to one decimal place. So it's 10.7. Because 2 after that 7 is not significant as much. So you give it 10.7 centimeters. Put in bracket 1 decimal place. Always ensure to put that in bracket so that whoever is reading or looking at what you've done knows that this was approximated to 1 decimal place. In the next class, we will look at more examples. This is where we draw the curtain for today. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like. And do not forget to share this video, very importantly, because you might be helping someone who is finding difficulty with this particular topic. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.